So it seems like it's been quite a while since I've done a bookish related blog post or video, and so I thought it was about time to change that. So I haven't been reading very much lately, however I have recently started a few books, and so I thought I would just quickly talk about them to you. First book that I've been reading lately is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. This book was sent to me by Walker Books and is published on April 6th, if you were wondering, and I've been really excited for it because I've heard so many good things. If you haven't heard about it, then first of all I'm shocked because I'm literally seeing it everywhere, which is really good. And secondly, the story follows a girl called Star who lives in a poor neighbourhood but goes to a very rich and posh school, and about what happens to her when she sees her best friend Carly, I think that's how you pronounce his name, be shot by a police officer for no reason as he was unarmed and not dangerous. Hopefully from the plotline itself you can see why this book has got so much attention, and rightly so. I have never read a story like this. I'm about a quarter of the way through this. I said I was really enjoying this book, but I don't think that's quite the right word. The writing style is beautiful and the story is so tragically real. Because this book is very intense, I find it quite hard to binge read it, which is why I'm only a quarter of the way through it, but I'm looking forward to continue reading it. The second book I'm reading could not be more different to The Hate You Give, and it is The Huntress by Sarah Driver. This book was sent to me by Egmont Publishers, and its target audience is for 9+. I am 17 years old, and so reading a book targeted for 9+ is something I don't do very often, but I am really enjoying it. This book is really light, which I appreciate as I've mentioned, I am studying for my A-levels and am very tired a lot of the time. The story follows a girl called Mouse, who is a pirate living aboard the Huntress, and the story follows her trying to find her dad and just dealing with life on the seas, and there is mystery and fantasy, and it's a lot of fun. It's really good fun. So far the story has focused on world building, and there are lots of aspects to the story that are so creative and things I've never seen before, which I really like. There are monsters and places that are so well described, I can just see them very clearly. Also, I really like pirates, so it's nice to have a pirate themed book, which sounds really ridiculous, but oh well. Because this book is so light, it's quite easy to read alongside The Hate You Give. Never have I mixed up the plot lines or characters because they are so different, but I am really enjoying this and I can't wait to get back to the sea, I guess. The Huntress is also being published on the 6th of April, which is a weird coincidence, I think. Magic? Maybe, who knows. And finally, the last book I'm reading is Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur. This is a book of poetry, and as someone who has only ever really read poetry for school but always wanted to get into it more seriously, this is a really good place to start. I've heard so many people talk about this book and recommend it for first-timers into poetry, and I could not agree more with them. It was such a good recommendation and I'm so glad I bought it. I had my eye on it for about 6 months, but for some reason I had never bought it. But recently, whilst I was in Paris, I was in Shakespeare & Company and I saw it and just thought it was a perfect place to buy it, and so here it is. The poems in this book are so beautiful. I really love them because they are so simplistic but really moving, I guess. Also, there are some really nice illustrations. I'm not sure if you can see that. But yeah, which I know it's kind of weird to say, but I think the illustrations really do add to the poems, which is really lovely. I am really enjoying this. I keep this by my bedside table and I try to read a poem a day, maybe more, just because I want to savour each one and really think about it. And I think it's a nice way to read poetry. I feel like I should say that it's published at some point, but it's already been published, as I've obviously mentioned. So go pick it up if you are interested in reading some poetry. Really good. So those are the books I'm reading at the moment. I very rarely read books at the same time. I like to just focus on one and move on, but it's pretty good at the moment because they are so different. Once I finish these, I don't really have a plan for what I'm going to read next. I don't have a TBR pile at the moment because my priority is school and A-levels, sadly. I hope you've enjoyed my rambly video. Let me know if you've read any of the books in the comments down below, and I'll see you when I see you.